In this video, we're going to look at using character level styling to animate your 3D text. Before we start, a quick shout out to Xunile Consulting, whose 3 tutorials on character level styling basically sorted out the nuances of using character level styling for me. Well worth a watch. I'll link them in the description. Go and have a look at them. Okay, so we're going to quickly jump into Fusion. So grab your Fusion comp either from the Effects Library Effects tab or your Favorites bar if you've put it there already. Make your Fusion comp whatever length you want. I'm just going to leave it at 5 seconds and hop into Fusion. So, what the hell are you talking about, Simon? Well, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. If we set up quickly a 3D scene with our text. So you've got your 3D text and you want to animate each letter so that they fly in from different parts of the screen and form up your word. The difficulty is that you don't have access to character level styling in a 3D text node. Well, you kind of do, but you can't do anything with it, because if you go to character level styling, go to modifiers, it says select text to view style options, but you can't select the text. It doesn't work. So we have to have a bit of a workaround. And the workaround is that you bring in a regular text node, set this up with similar text, doesn't have to be exactly the same. And now what we can do is apply character level styling to our 2D text, and then we can link it to our 3D text so that whatever character level styling is applied to our 2D text will be reflected in the 3D text. In your 2D text node, right-click in the text field, character level styling. This opens your modifiers tab, which you can click. Now, to link them together, all you need to do is select your 3D text node, right-click, connect to character level styling, style text. And now whatever character level styling I apply here will be reflected here. For example, if we select the S, go to our modifiers, and we can change the color of the S, and this is now reflected in our 3D text. So how does that work with the animation? So if we want our text to come flying in from all directions, for example, we can do that to our 2D text, and it will be reflected in our 3D text. So select your 2D text, you're in your modifiers tab, and what we're going to do is animate backwards. So you need to decide where you want your text to be in its final position, and you need to bring your playhead to that keyframe. So I'm going to say 2 seconds, which for me is 60 frames. At frame 60, you're going to click in the text tab of the modifiers, click the animate button, right click here to animate character level styling is what all this says, or it's supposed to, but it's bugged, but anyway. And now you're going to go to the shading tab, which is where you're going to apply your animations. Now at the minute you don't see anything here because there's no characters selected here. To select your character, just drag in the window and you'll see a green selection box appears. What's also helpful is if you come to the top of your viewer, you've got these 5 icons. The last 2 turn the text outline on and off in the viewer. Now it's not an outline in the sense of it will be visible in your video, it just shows where the text sits. You can see it puts a green outline around it. The reason for doing that is when you move the text off the screen, this is still the point you would select it at, not wherever you've left it on the screen, and it just helps to see the characters. So we're going to start by animating this S coming in from the left. In the Shadings tab, come down to Position, and you can manipulate your text with your offsets here. The Z offset will push it further or nearer on the screen. The center will move it horizontally or vertically. Now, one of the nuances, wrinkles, bugs, call it what you will, of character level styling is that just because we've set a keyframe here doesn't mean there's a keyframe set on these. So what you need to do is change all the parameters that you're going to use slightly and then put them back to default. So for example, I might want my S to be coming from further back in the screen. So just jiggle it, hit reset, and that's now set a keyframe on the Z offset. If you're going to do any kind of rotation, again, change them, set them back, and that sets the keyframe. I don't know why it does this. I don't know why it happens like this. Maybe it's a bug. I don't know. Again, with the offset, just jiggle them and then bring them back to 0. And you've set keyframes. So now we've got keyframes for the offset X, Y, offset Z, and all your rotations. You can now go back to frame 0 and put your character where you want it to start. So we'll say we're going to have it off the screen. And if you watch your 3D view, you can see where it's going to be. So you can bring it off the screen. You might want to bring it back. And you might want to have it spinning. So we can jiggle the spin. And now, when we play our animation through, our character comes in. And this is what I was talking about with the outline. If you see, this is where your S is. So if you click away and think, oh damn, I need to change my S, you can see where it is to reselect it. You would then repeat the process for all the other letters. So again, select the I, come back to your end keyframe, jiggle and reset your various parameters to make sure that they've got keyframes on them. So once you've made sure you've got your keyframe set on whatever you're going to change, come back to frame 0 and position your eye where you want it to come from. So we might want it to come from the top somewhere. Change your Z depth, add a bit of rotation to it. And then again, if you play through, you've now got 2 characters coming in, and so on and so forth. And you just work through each of your characters, going to your last frame, jiggling all your controls so that you set a keyframe, going to frame 0, placing your letter where you want it to start, and moving on to the next letter. I'll just quickly whiz through and do the other 3, and I'll be back. So there you have all your characters spinning in. You can also access your spline editor, where you can add basic easing to your animation. Now, the thing with doing it this way is that all the characters have the same spline, basically. So yes, you can add some smoothing to it. If you want to get into more detail about animating each character at different points, then, as I say, go back and look at Xunile's character level styling videos. It explains all that in there. The sort of purview of this is just to sort of show how you link it together and the effects it has. Once you've got your basic animation going, you may need to tweak it. If, for example, we look at the final render, we can bring our camera out so that our text is visible. We can add lights with our spotlight. Again, we can light up our scene. You can apply shaders or textures or colors to your letters, whatever. Exactly the same you would do if you were just setting up text in a 3D scene. And what you may find, and I'm going to make this a bit of an extreme example, if I can find my camera. You may find that your camera is so far out that your starting point, your letters are showing, and you may need to sort of tweak that. So just come back in and find out which letter it is. So for example, this is the S. If we go to the S, select it, go back to our frame 0, and then we can come to our modifiers, shading, and tweak to move it off screen so that we can see what we're doing. So that's how you go back and tweak each letter. I think that's the O there. So we would come to the O, and again we might need to, oh no, clearly not, because the O is down the bottom. Don't know which letter that is then. You get the idea. You can select your letters and tweak them. That's the N. So we can push it so that we make sure it's off screen. Like so. But that's why you've got your character outlines here. It just makes them easy to find and easy to select. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of it. That's how you would get your characters animated using character level styling with 3D text. Hope it was helpful. I hope it made sense. If not, just give me a shout. If there's any problems, come look me up on Discord. I hang out on Jake Whip's Discord and Mr. Alex Tech's. If you use Discord, they're great places to join. There's lots of helpful people there for when you get stuck. So yeah, come find us. In the meantime, please feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.